A lot of people are interested in the Venice, Florida real estate market. But what if I told you that within that market, there is a very quaint island that has so much to offer that you can live in and enjoy the Southwest Florida lifestyle? Stay tuned and we're going to talk all about it. Venice, Florida encompasses the entire town of Venice, but within that area, they've cut apart what is called Venice Island. So it's accessible by 3 different bridges, one on the south end of town, one on the north end of town, and then one that is Venice Avenue that goes all the way through a big part of Venice and then crosses over onto the bridge, goes through downtown Venice, and then ends up at Venice Beach. And we're going to talk about some of those areas. What's interesting in our story is we did not think we were going to end up in Venice, but I'll tell you more about that here in a bit. First, let's talk about what Venice has to offer. Starting with the downtown. The downtown is a couple blocks of very charming buildings, stores, restaurants, bakeries, great place for pizza, great place for ice cream. There are more inexpensive places you can eat, but also a great place for a date night if you're looking for something pricey. In the middle of the downtown is a very big parking lot, and at the end of that is what's called Centennial Park. It has a splash pad, which is great for kids. You see them there all the time. It also has a gazebo where they've hosted concerts and events, and they even have movies down there throughout the year for families to come and enjoy. Beyond that is the Heckscher Park. It is your typical park that has the playground, the tennis courts, basketball courts, shuffleboard, and just a few months ago, they added 3 brand new pickleball courts. Now, there are a whole lot of different parks in Venice on the island and off the island. We're just going to name some of the few that are our personal favorites that are on the island. And the other one we want to name that we utilize a lot, especially when I walk on the weekends, is the Heritage Park. And it is on a few blocks of Venice Avenue and a boulevard, just like a boulevard when you're driving through. But it's actually a park that connects essentially Heckscher Park and Venice Beach. And it has beautiful big trees. It has benches to sit at, and it's a walking path all the way through it. In fact, that's where we're videoing this right now. And we have to talk about the beaches. So there are multiple beach accesses in Venice, and every one of those that is a Venice Beach is here on the island. So we're going to start with the northern one. That is right off of Venice Avenue, hence the name Venice Beach. That is the only one that does have lifeguards. People have yoga classes there. They have sand volleyball there. There are 2 parking lots and an overflow parking lot. And I would say that is one of the main beaches here. The next beach south is Service Park Beach. And it is a great beach. It's near our home. And it has beach volleyball. There are some grills there, like all of the other parks for Sarasota County. It has restrooms, but something special it has are 6 like pavilions, and there's a picnic table under each one. They're on a boardwalk, and it's great for having a meal with your family. I've sat there to read a book. We've worked there. People have had birthday parties there, and those all overlook the beach, and it is a great spot. The next beach down is what I actually call the Pier Beach. That is not its official name. I'm not even sure what it is, but it's the beach that you see people on and enjoying when they're waiting for sharkies or they want to be near the pier. And that is a great beach as well. When you're fishing on the pier, you do not have to have a fishing license, and that's a lot of bonus that people like. We love to go down to the pier. Again, we can walk there from our house and watch people fish in the evenings, and there's always a lot of conversation and people friendly and explaining what they're doing, and it's a lot of fun. The next beach down is going to be what we call the Dog Beach, and that is Brohard Park. And it's the only dog beach in Sarasota County. It's great because there's a parking lot there. There's like a dog run to get your dogs on the beach. And then it's actually very well marked, so you can see exactly where that dog beach is. The reason that's important is because since it is the only dog beach in Sarasota County, if your dog goes off of that beach, you can get a ticket if they are ticketing, but it's very well labeled and easy to see where you can run around with your furry friends. Beyond that, you go about a mile and then you're at the last beach, which is Caspersen Beach. That's a very popular beach. People love to go there to get shark's teeth. One thing about Caspersen Beach to note is that since the hurricane in 2024, the road is not there anymore. And so it's a walk. So you're going to walk about a mile rather than driving. And there's obviously no parking lot, there's no road, and the restroom facilities are not there either. However, it is still a great place for shark's teeth, a great place to go. Now it's more of a rural beach, which is nice if that's what you're looking for. It is just going to take a walk. In addition to the playgrounds, the beaches, and the downtown, we also have a lot of festivals here. Some of those will close downtown for, and it's just a lot of fun, especially if that's your kind of thing. So we have the Art Festival, we have the Shark's Teeth Festival, which is a huge one. We have the Craft Festival, we have the Italian Fest, and then some of my personal favorites is the Boat Parade, and that runs throughout parts of the intercoastal. People will bring their boats and decorate them up for Christmas. The other thing we have at Christmas time is the Christmas Parade, which is on Venice Island, and I love that. Those are two of my favorites. But my final event that I like, again, also at Christmas time, I have no idea why I picked all the Christmas ones, maybe because I'm used to snow at Christmas and I just love this down here. But it is the Christmas Walk, and it is one particular evening for 2 hours, and the businesses that are normally closed, they will be open, and you can walk through those to buy Christmas gifts or just relax and be with your friends or family. And most of these stores will either offer wine or a cookie or something like that. We've gone every year we've lived here, and it is definitely a lot of fun. Now that we've talked about all things island, and before we get into our personal story, let's talk about the housing and condo inventory, because I know you're interested in that. As of this recording, there are 38 single-family homes, and because I know you're going to ask, there are 31 in the ex-flood zone. 11 of those are under $800,000, which is a big deal because when we were looking, there were 4. And under $1 million, you have 18 choices as of today's filming. Now let's talk about condos. Condos, as of today's date, there are 104 for sale. And because I know you're going to ask about the flood zone, in the ex-flood zone are 53. 22 of those condos are for sale for $250,000 or less. So you don't have to have an expensive price range to get here on the island and still enjoy all that lifestyle and the relaxed low-key of it and the beauty of it has to offer. Now let's get into our story. We were actually not looking at Venice Island at all. My husband just took the boys and I through it so we could see what it looked like. It was not in our price range for sure. We were actually looking further south because of what we were trying to get at the time. And we definitely had some must-haves. So it must have a 2-car garage, it must have a laundry room, and it must have a pool. But we kept being drawn to the island. We would drive around the streets, thought the houses were all charming. We loved being by the beach. At that time, the road to Caspersen was open. We loved the South Jetty. And one day, my husband and I came for a trip by ourselves to look because we had another house under contract further south that fell through. And we're sitting at the pier and I start crying like a big baby because I wanted to be on this island that I knew we could not afford, or I didn't think we could afford. Because we only had 4 options and the options in our price point did not meet all of our criteria. So we went through the houses that were in our price point and saw the home we're in now and fell in love with it. Now, keep in mind, it has a 1-car garage and the laundry room is there, but it is definitely not big. And that was an adjustment for what we wanted, but it had everything else, including this lifestyle. I get up every morning and I'll walk and see the beach. I might walk to downtown. We're always walking to the festivals, walking to see the boat parade because we can. We don't have to deal with traffic. Every time we want to have a nice dinner or even just get ice cream, we can walk if we want to or have a quick drive downtown. Not only are there the charming stores that are not chain places that I talked about, but we have a Publix, which is a necessity in Southwest Florida, and a 7-Eleven, which both have really great staff and are super easy to run and get gas or groceries or whatever you need. Living here is even better than I thought it would be, and it's just as charming. So when you're looking at the Venice, Florida real estate market, don't forget that this place exists because so many people don't talk about it or they think that it is for more of a retired community. It is both. Our block is a mix of families with young kids, elementary kids, high school kids, all the way to people with empty nests, all the way to those who are retired. So definitely put it on your list to check out. You're not going to regret it. If you're interested to know more about the island or anything about Venice, Florida real estate market, watch these videos here. Or please feel free to reach out to us and we're happy to answer your questions and tell you all about life here and how much we're enjoying it.